For the last year, I've been following Andrew Huberman's sleep routine, and the results have been staggering. But first, if you don't know who Andrew Huberman is, he's a professor of neuroscience at the Stanford School of Medicine and the host of the Huberman Lab podcast. You may know him as the NSDR guy or the sunlight in the morning guy, but there's way more to this routine than meets the eye. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 7 main habits that I implemented and show you how they impacted my sleep data. Also, rating them on how useful they were for me. The first routine that Huberman recommends is to use meditation to improve your sleep. Now, he recommends the use of NSDR, which stands for non-sleep deep rest. And basically, it's where you do this. This type of meditation is reported to refresh you and feel like you've slept 8 hours after 30 minutes of meditation, but to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this. In the year that I implemented meditation, I found that I wasn't actually a huge fan of NSDR. Instead, I liked more transcendental meditation, and I felt like that relaxed me a little bit more, but I never really felt the amazing benefits of NSDR in my life. It was pretty good, but, we'll have to look at the sleep data to know for sure. I'd give this a 5 out of 10. The next routine that Andrew Huberman recommends is to eliminate caffeine from your life. Now, I haven't taken caffeine consistently in over a year, and really, since I'm very sensitive to caffeine, even 100 milligrams taken in the morning will keep me up late at night. So for me, this was something that was super easy to drop. Personally, I feel like it has really improved my sleep. I feel like I fall asleep faster, I am able to stay asleep for longer, and I wake up less in the night. So out of 10, I would definitely give this a 10. This was super easy for me to implement. I very, very rarely have caffeine, and I don't find it to negatively impact my life at all. It's something that was very easy for me to give up. But for other people who take caffeine a lot more often, that might not be the case. It might be a lot more of a sacrifice for you, but to be honest, it has made a huge impact on my sleep. Now, I have to come clean about this next one. This next habit I don't do. Huberman recommends that you take 2 hours of completely no screens before bed, and I have not been doing that. What I have been doing is protecting my eyes from blue light by wearing, where they go? What I actually do is wear blue light glasses. These ones, they broke a little bit. These help prevent the blue light from screens reaching your eyes and suppressing melatonin production late into the night. And this is super helpful in helping you get into a routine and keeping your circadian rhythm intact. Now, I bought these ones for probably $10 off Amazon. I'll link them down in the description. But I like them because they are so cheap. So when this happens, it's not a big deal. Personally, this is super easy for me. I just put them on 2 hours before bed and then take them off when I'm ready to sleep. And so it's not a big hassle in my life. And I feel like it has made some improvement to my time to sleep. The amount of time it takes me to actually go unconscious when I go to bed. So for me, this would get an 8 out of 10. Huberman is probably the most famous for how much he preaches getting sunlight in your eyes in the morning. Now, I wake up before the sun almost every single day. So for me, that's not really possible. But what I did do is I went and got a daylight lamp. This is a Verilux lamp that I bought from their website. I'm not sponsored, but I actually do enjoy having this around. It was pretty cheap, and I find it quite useful. I'll throw it on when I'm doing my morning block of work, and then turn it off and totally forget about it. I haven't noticed huge significant changes in my sleep because of that light. I would say it has helped a little bit, but I can't say for sure. When I go to bed after not using that light in the morning, I can't really tell that much of a difference, but there are a lot of factors going on that it might not necessarily make that huge of a change. I'd give this a 5 out of 10. Okay, now time for a little intermission. This next habit is actually my favorite out of all of them. Huberman recommends his protocol of going to bed at the same time every single night. And this is something I've implemented for just around a year now. One day I went ahead and set an alarm on my phone saying I will go to bed at this same time every night. And to be honest, that is the best 30-second investment I've ever made in my life. So every night at 9 p.m., this alarm goes off and I head immediately to bed. My family makes fun of me for it, and you may find it extreme, but personally, I've found it has hugely impacted my sleep. When I'm in this perfect routine of going to bed at the same time, to the minute, I find that my body's able to get an amazing routine and my sleep becomes really synchronized. So I wake up at the same time every day without having an alarm, and I feel refreshed every single morning. So I would give this habit an absolute 10 out of 10. You have to try this one. The second to last routine I did was dimming the lights in the evening. Now this is something that really affects melatonin production as well. When you see bright lights in the evening, it tells your body to wake up, and really that can be really harmful when you're trying to go to sleep a few minutes afterwards. So in the evening, how I implement this is I will start turning off lights, I will wear those blue light glasses again, and when I'm brushing my teeth and kind of doing my nighttime routine, getting ready to go to bed, I will wear a red light headlamp. Now, a lot of headlamps actually have this red light feature, which people don't really use that often, but it's super helpful. Red is the lowest wavelength of light, meaning it carries the least energy and gets you ready to sleep. Blue light is way on the other side of the spectrum, which really suppresses your melatonin production and makes you awake. So it's the polar opposite of that. And really it has, I feel, improved my time to sleep, how quickly I'm able to actually fall asleep at night, and also has made me just more tired in the evenings, which I really enjoy. So I would give this probably an 8 out of 10 just because you kind of have to go out and buy a red light, but you can also do this for free by literally just turning off lights in the evening. It just gets your body ready to go to bed. The final routine that Huberman recommends is to have a dark and cool sleep environment. Now, I live in Michigan, so I kind of have the cool thing handled. But the dark thing can kind of be a different story. I have 2 sets of curtains on my windows that really black out this room. The combination of those 2 really blocks out the light from the neighborhood, but I'm usually going to bed when it's dark anyways. So especially in the winter, it's not a huge issue, but I do find that it actually is nice to have a room that's actually dark at night. If you're trying to fall asleep somewhere with your windows open and your blinds not covering your window, you will find it harder to go to sleep and you'll feel less sleepy in the evening. Additionally, if there are lights in your room like a clock or some other LEDs, those can actually impact your sleep. Even if you're already asleep, they will affect your brain. Your body can sense it. I read a study once that showed that if a laser pointer was shown on the underside of someone's knee, their sleep would be affected. Their body could sense it. So I try my best to eliminate all light in my room. I have no alarm clock. I have no annoying power strips with lights on them. I just shut everything off so it's perfectly dark in my room. Now, I could definitely improve this by implementing some blackout film on the windows, and that would probably get me some better sleep, but at this point, it's not a huge priority. I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. Now we're gonna go look at how this actually affected my sleep stats. So over the last year, I've been meticulously tracking some of this stuff on my Coros watch and putting it in a spreadsheet to track my stats. So we're gonna go on my computer and look at if Huberman's routine has actually helped improve my sleep. Let's go see. All right, so we're here at my desk and we are about to dive into the sleep data that I've collected over the last year or so. Now I'm gonna start by showing you guys the spreadsheet where I collect all of this data, and then we'll dive into the final results showing the before and after of this routine. So here on the computer, we have a sample of my most recent sleep data. So here we have columns for things like total sleep, awake time, deep sleep, REM sleep. These are all just different metrics that I'm able to get on my watch that I input here, and then over here, find averages for the month. So here we had an average of 549 minutes of total sleep per night. Deep sleep of 72, it's all right. And resting heart rate of 52.6. So you can see these are the formulas for how that is calculated. We're just taking averages of all the data. So I also have sleep data from further back in March, and so this is just more of the same thing. Time to sleep, which I actually don't track anymore. Total sleep, awake time, deep sleep, and so some of this info will look a little bit different because I actually changed watches from Garmin to Coros, so they track things a little bit differently. Now, let's go and look into the final results. So this is the reference tab where I've plotted some of the changes in sleep over the last year or so. I started this routine before March, but really we're seeing how it's impacted overall. So total sleep, this is the big thing. This is just how much I'm actually asleep at night. So we saw an increase from 469 minutes to 549 minutes. That is a 17% increase in total sleep. So that's pretty significant. Overall, that's a lot more time that I'm actually spending out unconscious, which is something that a lot of people try to do. But this, for me, actually shows pretty good incremental progress. It's not hugely, but I feel like this 549 minutes is the most that I really need. I don't feel like I'm catching up on sleep at any time. I always feel like I'm on top of it. All right. So now we're going to awake time. This is something that really surprised me. In March, I reportedly had an awake time of 3.65 minutes on average. But now in November, in the previous month, I had 13.8 minutes, which is still not bad. Really, a lot of people struggle with being awake at night, and that really represents a pretty good score, but 3.65 minutes is pretty incredible. So that actually is a 375% increase in time awake, which I did not expect to see at all. And I'm not 100% sure if this is just because of the switch from Garmin to Coros, or if it's actually because I'm genuinely spending more time awake at night. It could be that I'm actually just more stressed out and don't really have the same quality of sleep that I used to. So that's something I have to look into. Next, we have light sleep. So I was going to put deep sleep and REM sleep in here, but the way that Garmin actually tracks REM sleep is kind of weird, and it usually just lumps REM in with deep. So long story short, I'm going with light sleep. Light sleep is not a bad thing. You do need a good amount of light sleep, but ideally you actually want more of the deep and REM sleep in comparison. So like if I were to choose one thing to eliminate, I would eliminate light sleep. And having less light sleep usually means you are having more deep sleep and more REM sleep. And since I know that my overall time to sleep went up significantly, I can tell that having less light sleep means that I'm doing more deep and REM. So over here we have a 38% decrease in light sleep from 330 minutes to 128 minutes in November. So this is really good progress. Like, improving the amount of deep sleep you have is one of the things that can actually really make you feel more refreshed in the morning. Because a lot of people sleep a lot of hours, but just don't feel good in the morning, and that's because they're not really getting the recovery they need from some of the sleep. So really, I find that very encouraging. I think some of these habits, like the red light and a darker sleep environment, are actually definitely impacting the way I sleep. So this is great stuff, very encouraging to see. And then resting heart rate. So this is the average heart rate that you hold at night. So in March, We had a resting heart rate of 46.9. That's quite good. I was actually surprised to see that it was that low. And then in November, we had just over 52 beats per minute. So that's a slight increase. It's not something I should be concerned about, but I would like to see my resting heart rate a little bit lower. 52 to me was a little bit surprising with how high it was. So that does not necessarily have any big implications for the quality of my sleep. It could also be due to changes in my routine, when I eat at night, and also just the training that I'm doing during the day. So overall, not super concerned about that. So as a whole, what do we think about the Huberman routine? I think he has a lot of good stuff to say, but when it comes to the data, implementing it didn't change a whole lot, except for some of the quality of my sleep metrics, like decreasing my light sleep, that was great, and increasing total sleep. But other than that, I didn't see huge improvements in like staying asleep at night. I think a lot of these habits have to do with the depth of your sleep and a lot of just like falling asleep. So no caffeine, no blue light, and dimming the lights are all really just to help you fall asleep faster. So in that effect, it works, I would say. But I also still was waking up a good amount at night. So we really have to be still searching for a technique to stay out all night. If I could decrease that from 14 minutes to maybe even 10 minutes, I think I would have a pretty significant impact on the quality of my sleep. All right, guys, that is the Huberman video. I think you should all look into some of the routines that he's tried, but not necessarily taking them as absolute fact. Try what works for you and we'll figure it out. So thank you for coming along. Like and subscribe. Sleep well. Love you guys.